All right, thanks, guys. The Celtics are taking on the Heat, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Miami. The Celtics open the betting as the 1-point favorite, and the total at 209.5. And since those markets opened this one up, we're seeing steady and consistent money on Boston right now. We're also seeing movement upward on the total as well. Right now, the Celtics are minus 2.5 with the total moving upward to 212. So once again, Boston open 1 up to 2.5. Total open 209.5 up to 212. 69% of the consensus is leaning toward the Celtics, 70% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, Miami is plus 120 at home for some money line cash. Now, if you like Miami in this one, just keep in mind they're taking on a Boston team who's successfully covered the number in 5 out of their last 6. The Celtics are also covering 61% of their games when laying the points. Now, on the Miami side of things, they failed to cover in 4 out of their last 5. They're also ranking 26th in home offense. Now, scoring-wise, Miami 6-2 to the over in their last 8. Boston 8-2 to the over in their last 10. So with all that said and done, I'm going to go ahead and purchase the hook, buy it down, and take Boston minus 2 in the over, 212 in that one. And before we go ahead and move on, I just want to take a quick timeout and just quickly welcome you to the show. Got some lines and personal leans out for Thursday's NBA action. The weekend is almost here. But before we go ahead and proceed with that, I just want to quickly remind you to check me out at patreon.com/BrockPage. And with a documented win percentage of 60% for the entire year of 2017, you're certainly costing yourself some valuable information each and every day you're not subscribed. Now, memberships begin at just $1.99 per month. There's also plenty of free content there as well. So once again, please feel free to just hit that pause button right now. Open up your browser. All you got to do is type in patreon.com/BrockPage. It'll only take you a couple of seconds. The link is in the description section below. And if you are a current patron of mine and you're currently watching me right now, I simply cannot thank you enough. You most certainly make it all worth it. And with all that said and done, let's go ahead and hop right back into some more lines and personal leans. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got Clippers, Nuggets, 9 o'clock tip-off in Denver. The Nuggets open the betting as the 5.5-point favorite with the total at 225.5. And since those markets opened this one up, we're seeing a little money on Denver in the early going here. We're also seeing movement upward on the total as well. Right now, the Nuggets are minus 6 with the total moving upward to 226. So once again, the Nuggets open 5.5 up to 6. Total open 225 and a hook up to 226 even. 63% are leaning Denver, 67% shaded toward the over. And at the moment, the Clippers are plus 200 for some money line cash. Now, if you like the Clippers on the road here, just keep in mind they're taking on a Denver squad who is 22-17 against the spread overall for the year. They've also successfully covered the number in 8 out of their last 10 at home. Now, Denver is 16-3 straight up in their games at the Pepsi Center this year. They're also ranking first in total defensive rebounding at home. Now, scoring-wise, the Clippers are 4-2 to the under in their last 6. They're also 42% to the over in their games at the current posted total. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean toward the home favorite in this one. Very chalky lean here. Give me the Nuggets minus 6 and the under 226 in that one. Next game, Thunder, Spurs, 9:30 tip-off in San Antonio. The Thunder opened the betting as the 1-point favorite, and the total at 224.5. And since this one opened up, we're seeing money on OKC in the early going here. We're also seeing movement downward on the total as well. Right now, the Thunder are minus 1.5 with the total moving downward to 223 and a hook. So once again, OKC open 1 up to minus 1.5. Total open 224.5 down to 223 and a hook. 53% are leaning OKC, 52% shaded toward the under. And at the moment, the Spurs are plus 105 for some money line cash. Now, if you like the Spurs at home here, catching 1.5, they have successfully covered the number in 7 out of their last 8. They're 6-2 straight up in that same category. The Spurs have covered 81% of their games, taking on teams over 550. Even more impressive, they're covering 88% of their games that tipped off at the current point spread. Now, total-wise, OKC's 16-5 to the under on the road this season. They're also just 23% to the over, taking on teams allowing more than 102 a game. So with all that said and done, I'm going to purchase the hook, buy it up, and take San Antonio +2 and the under 223.5 in that one. All right, next and final game for our NBA slate. It is going to be Pistons at the Kings, 10 o'clock tip-off in Sacramento. The Kings open -5, total open 224 and a hook. Not a whole lot of movement in this one, although we did see half a point move downward on the total. So once again, Sacramento open and remains -5, total open 224 and a hook, down to 224 even. 62% are leaning Sacramento, 63% shaded toward the under. And at the moment, the Pistons are +180 for some money line cash. Now, if you like the Pistons catching the 5 on the road, just keep in mind they're taking on a Kings team who is 24-17 against the spread overall for the year. The Kings are also covering 75% of their ball games when laying the points. Sacramento's 5th in total scoring, 2nd in three-point shooting at home, and they're also 9-3 against the spread, taking on teams under 450. Now, when it comes to the scoring in this one, Detroit's just 25% to the over in the second of a back-to-back. They're also 7-3 to the under in their last 10 when traveling. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean toward the chalky play in this one once again. I like Sacramento -5 and the under 224 in that one. All right, let's go ahead and slide into some college basketball action. We got a couple games in that department. So let's go ahead and begin with Michigan, Illinois. Let me go ahead and cue that up. A lot of games there. Wow. There we go. All right, Michigan at Illinois, 8 o'clock tip-off at the Fighting Illini. Now, Michigan opened -9, total at 135. And since this one opened up, we're seeing a little bit of money on the Wolverines. We're also seeing a little bit of movement upward on the total as well. Right now, Michigan's -9.5 with the total moving upward to 135 and a hook. So once again, the Wolverines open -9 up to -9.5. Total open 135 up to 135 and a hook. 66% are leaning Michigan, 58% shaded toward the under. And at the moment, the Fighting Illini are +390 for some money line cash. Now, if you like Illinois in this matchup here, just keep in mind they're going up against a Michigan team who's a perfect 15-0 straight up overall for the year. They're also 3-0 against the spread in their games at the current posted number. This Michigan defense is ranked first in road scoring. It's first in points allowed on the road in college basketball. They're also covering 75% of their games away from home. Now, when it comes to the scoring, Illinois is 4-2 to the over in their last 6 on their home court. Their defense is allowing 75 points per contest at home. So with all that said and done, I'm going to purchase the half a point, slide it down, and take Michigan -9 and the over 135.5 in this one. Next game, Penn State at Nebraska, 9 o'clock tip-off at Nebraska. The Cornhuskers open the betting as the 10.5 point favorite, and the total at 137.5. And since this one opened up, we're seeing a slight fade of Nebraska in the early going here. We're also seeing movement downward on the total as well. Right now, the Huskers are -10, with the total moving downward to 136 and a hook. So once again, Nebraska open 10.5 down to 10. Total open 137.5 down to 136 and a hook. 61% are leaning Nebraska, 53% shaded toward the under. And at the moment, Penn State is +40. Let's try that again. Penn State is +445 for some money line cash. Now, if you like the Nittany Lions on the road catching the double digits, just keep in mind they failed to cover in 7 out of their last 9. They're also just 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 on the road. This Penn State offense has been anemic this year. They're scoring just 64 points per contest when traveling. They're also a winless 0-4 against the spread as the official road underdog. Now, scoring-wise, Penn State's just 18% to the over when the line was between 132 and 145, so I know that's a big gap there, but that's a trend that certainly jumped off the page to me. Meanwhile, on the other side, this Nebraska defense is allowing just 52 points per contest on their home court. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lay the points. Give me Nebraska -10 and the under 136.5 in that one. Next game, UCLA, Oregon, 9 o'clock tip-off at Oregon. The Ducks open 4.5 with a total at 139 and a hook. And since those markets opened this one up, we're seeing a steady and consistent fade of Oregon in the early going here. We're also seeing steady and consistent money toward the over. We've actually seen, it looks like, a 6.5 point move upward on the total. So right now, Oregon's minus 3.5 with a